Hello, welcome to the first episode of Both Sides of the Barricade. This week's guest is the amazing, talented, lovely, my favorite person ever, Chloe Lilac.
Stop! You're so nice, girl.
she
Oh
just
my
re-
god.
she just released her sophomore EP, Douchebag. You should all be streaming it already, but if you're not, go check it out. And she's been featured in Ones to Watch, MTV, Lady Gun, Nylon, Teen Vogue. She's all over the place, and she's about to be in even more places because we all know that she's blowing up any second.
Oh, stop.
So, I
Mm.
guess we should start the episode by how we met and our relationship. So, if you'd like to tell that story, go ahead.
Dude, yeah, I know you through I was opening for Sasha Sloan in 2018.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I was like really small. I think I had like maybe like 2K on Instagram and like a couple hundred monthly listeners. Like nothing crazy though. Like I think I only like I was like really early on in my career. And I think it was like before I put out Summer, like before Summer even existed as a
Well, I
song.
think Summer might have been out because I remember I was there and I was like, this song's really good. Like, I think you ended the show with that. And I was like, this is a classic. I want to talk to her after the show.
Oh, it had like just it had just come out then because it came out in like September. So that was the winter. Anyway, I met you at the meet and greet table like after my set, and you and your friend Ian
Hmm.
walked up to me and were like, "Hey," and we're just like so cool and so nice, and you guys were like right in the front, and I
Hmm.
was so nervous at that show, and you guys like made me feel so much better while I was on stage because you guys
Aw.
were like, "Yes, bitch,"
Oh
like
my God, yes.
I remember that. Like
Make
I
her
was
hype
like,
man.
you guys were like hyping me up, and I needed it, and it was like so fucking great. And then afterwards you guys were like, do you like want to hang out? And I was like, yes. And then the next time you guys were in the city, we like got food.
Yes, we went to a diner. If Gibson is listening, Big Daddy's his favorite diner of like all time. But yes, we went there and we just hit it off, which was crazy because at the time, like I was making friends with artists that I was seeing just because I liked talking to them after the show. But I had never been in a situation where it was just someone that felt so much like just a peer of mine that I could just hang out with. Like,
Yeah,
and
I was just
that
like,
was
dude,
so
let's
cool.
chill.
Yeah. So yeah, we met in December of 2018 at one of Chloe's shows where she opened for another artist. And our friendship has definitely evolved over the past 2 years
Hugely. Oh my god, yeah, dude.
because now I work with Chloe as like a social media marketing person and I help her with, just developing herself as an artist.
Yeah.
And it's so fun to work with you and Clay. Like it's a dream job for me. Like I hope,
Same.
yeah. I just hope that that continues forever because I love working with you and him and Alex, of course, the
Same.
queen.
The queen, my manager. Yes.
So, the first question I have is how would you describe your relationship with your fans? Because obviously I started out as a fan, but you have a very interesting dynamic with them. So,
I do. Dude, like that's such a good question. I think we're like really I think my relationship with my fans is super special, especially because it's like, I'm a smaller artist. So I don't know, like it's a really tight-knit small community, but it's so like loving and my fans like reach out to me for advice or just to say hi and we like talk all the time. And I know like that sounds like I don't know. I feel like I hear a lot of artists being like, "Yeah, I talk to my fans all the time," but I feel like they don't. Like I actually
yeah,
do. Like
yeah,
I actually like DM them and like we talk all the time. I'm bad at like keeping up with my number on community, but like Instagram, like I will DM back. And it's really special. Like we like joke around all the time, and it's like I don't know. I just think there's like in the music industry, there's this like really stupid like thing of like, oh, like I'm the artist. So like you're like there's this weird god complex that comes with
hmm
that. And I think it's ridiculous and stupid and like really funny when people are like, "Oh, you're a fan." Like,
I
"Oh."
know. I was thinking about that today because I was like, just being around you so much and seeing how you interact with your fans, even on lives, like they'll say like inside jokes that they'll tell you like in your DMs and like you get it. And like, it's just so funny because I see so many artists who like never interact with their fans at all, or they get to a certain point and they don't interact as much. And I'm just like, I just can't see that happening with Chloe. Like, I don't know. I feel like you'll be like at like 100K still like DMing like your group chats and everything. And I think that's
Absolutely.
amazing. That's how
Yeah,
it
those
should
are the
be.
homies. No, because my fan base is like really cool. Like it's all really genuinely like cool, caring, smart, and like funny people.
The lemon
Like
gang, the lemon gang.
Lemon Gang is so sick, like so amazing. I just love, yeah, I genuinely love my fans like so much.
And they feel it. Like they know. That's the
Good.
thing too, because like that's the other thing. Like some fans are they feel that love from artists, but I feel like they feel like it's just one-sided. Like they're putting that love out towards the artist and they're not getting it back. But that is not the case with you. Like they know that you love them and that you care. And I think that that's really special too because it shows, and that's why your community is so tight knit because you have that.
I try. Like, I don't know, especially like, my fans are a lot of them are like young women.
Hmm.
Um, and I struggled a lot as like a young teenager, and I didn't really have any positive older female influences, like besides my mom, but me and my mom were like not chilling when I was 14, you know? So like, I don't know, like I wish that when I was 14 and like in early high school, like I had someone that I could hit up for advice or like for just like anything. And I want to be that person for as many of my fans as possible. Of course, without like stepping any boundaries, because some fans like cross boundaries. They're like, "Oh, dude, like, they get really into like mental health stuff, and like I can't
Yeah.
advise that. I'm not a therapist, but like, I'm here for like stupid like romantic advice and like oh no like one of I wouldn't even consider her a fan at this point, like she's like my neighbor and she's like younger than me and it's like a big sister little sister relationship kind of. She like called me and was like, I hit the vape for the first time, am I gonna die? Like like that's the kind of advice I will give. Like
Yeah, no,
I
there's
was like,
definitely a
you will be
line.
fine.
There's definitely a line because I feel like a lot of your fans, like they listen to your music and they really relate to like the struggles that you go through because you talk about your mental health in your music and they relate to how honest you're being with your music, but then they kind of like that line is blurred when it comes to actually talking to you and they're like
Yeah.
they think that they can go to Chloe the musician that they're listening to, but like you're also a person and like you can't help them in every way that your music might help them.
Dude, I wish I could,
Yeah,
but I'm just like not a licensed therapist whatsoever.
yeah.
Like,
Like
it would
I'm
be
just
really
a
fucked up for me
cathedral.
to be like, this is what you should do. Like, no,
Yeah,
that would be so what. Like, sometimes I'm like, I don't know. And also, when I give like the rare occasion that I give mental health advice, besides like, have you tried seeing someone? Have you talked to your mom
yeah,
about that?
yeah,
Like, what? Like, I'll be like I'll like say some stupid shit like, "Oh, don't be sad." Like, and that's just like so dumb. Like I'm like, dude, like
yeah,
that is the most stupid surface shit I could say. So I just try to stay away from that. But other than that, we're all super close and like
yeah.
it's
And in
it
some regard,
they tend to have good boundaries too,
yeah,
like for the most part.
in some regard, it's even nice just hearing from someone they look up to. Like, it doesn't really matter what you say. If you like sent them a heart or like their message, that would mean a lot to them anyway. But
Yeah.
I totally
Yeah.
know. So as you mentioned, your early teen years, I guess we should talk about how you started out in music and how you got discovered. So if you'd like to say that.
Well, you know the story. I
I
like
do, but the fans do not, the listeners.
the listeners of both sides of the barricade. By the way, sick ass name.
Thank you.
Um, Basically, like I've always been into music. Like I've always been doing it my whole life. It's something I'll do until I die. Um, but basically, like I don't know. Like started in like a Joan Jett cover band when I was 8. And then after that, I was like, it's time to go solo. Like I was like, well, I've done my time with the Joan Jett cover band. It's time to go solo. So when I was 10, I was like, fuck this shit. Also, I was like fighting with one of my bandmates, and I was like, you know what? Fuck this bitch. Like, I'm out. Like, I like straight up Beyonce'd myself. Like, I was like, peace.
I just love that
And
you were 10 doing this.
I was
Like,
10 and I was like, I'm better than all of you. I'm more talented. Goodbye. Which isn't true. One of them is like, I'm sure they're all talented in their own rights. I haven't spoken to any of them in so long, but me and my friend Nina still talk, and she's like such an amazing musician, and like it's so cool that both of us like ended up in music. And I'm like, dude, it all goes back to the electric French fries. That was the name.
are you kidding?
Electric French fries. I came up with it.
Makes sense.
It checks out. It checks out. But yeah, dude, then after that, I started like producing by myself and shit. And then, like Pitch Perfect was big then. So like I was doing like a cappella covers of songs on GarageBand because I didn't know how to use like the MIDI instruments. And then I figured out how to use MIDI instruments, game changer, started producing actually kind of. And then I started like street performing because I figured like, fuck it. I live in New York City. I have a fire escape. Like I can sneak out. So when I was 13 and 14, which is like insane to think about now, as a 19-year-old, I'm like, how did I not die? Like I started like sneaking out and street performing in front of Soho House and Union Square Park, because that's where Soho House is where I heard from Drake that like he hangs out. So I was like, oh, music industry, because the music industry was so beyond me
Yeah.
at that point. And I had made this pact with myself. I'm sorry if I'm rambling.
No, you're fine.
Okay, but I had made this pact with myself when I was 10 that by the time I was 15, I'd be signed to a major label, and I would do anything in my power to like get to that goal. And it worked. Not when I was 15, but it worked. Like I basically like just worked my ass off. I got kicked out of school because I was working too hard on music. Like, and I wasn't doing any work when I was in high school. I like entered high school and I was like, fuck this shit, I'm out. And like they were like, either get your shit together or get out. And I was like, peace. And then I got kicked out of this other school, and then I like spiraled into drug addiction, and that was like really intense. And then like basically I was like putting shit on SoundCloud for the longest time. I was putting shit on SoundCloud for like 2 years, and it was the summer before my sophomore year in high school. And I was like, okay, I need to like get my shit together and probably go back to like school, because I was homeschooled. I was like, I need to go back to school and like get my shit together and like not be a fucking piece of shit anymore. Like, but then I'm like, I was working this summer job at this program, and I'm high off my ass off like 2 edibles. And my dad calls me. I'll never forget this. My dad calls me and he's like, yo, come to J Street Metro Tech. And I was like, oh man, he's gonna send me to rehab. So I like leave work early. I was like, family emergency, I have to go. And they were like, okay, like good luck. And so I leave, and I go home and I take a cold shower, and I dress in my fuck, why is it so loud? I dress in my digi camo pants and my Brandy Melville top as a 14-year-old, and I was like, all right, if I'm gonna go out, I'm going out in style. So I meet up with my dad, and I was like, dude, hey, what's up? What's up, Dad? And he was like, yo, come with me to this place. And so we go to this random fucking storage unit place. He was like, some dude hit me up about your music and he wants to like talk to you. And then it turns out it was like the SVP of like Warner Chappell Music, and he had found my SoundCloud through like weirdly through like this like these parents at my old school of this girl who bullied me. I was like, what? she's cool now. We're homies now. But like it was like really, I was like, whoa, like this is so weird. And he basically like sat me down at this Starbucks and was like bought me a fruit cup and was like, you got to get your shit together, but I want to work with you and I want to put you into development. And so then I got signed right after I turned 17 to RCA Records and kind of completed my dream a little later, but completed my like first big goal. um and yeah,
Your
yeah.
your story is just like one of the most insane to me. Like I've heard many artist stories, but yours is just insane to me because I feel like you've lived like 30 lifetimes
I
already.
have. I feel 80. I just turned 19 and I feel like I'm 80 years old.
Like even the street performing, I remember the first time we hung out at that diner, you told me that, and I was like, you went out on the streets of New York at 13 at 2 a.m. and like sang in a subway or like in a park or in front of a building. I don't know how you did that at 13. Like,
I was just so bold.
yeah,
Like I it's so weird because I was so socially anxious. Like I was really like terrified of social interaction, but I was like, I don't know, this is something I've always known was my thing. Like since I was literally like ever since I can remember, I was like, I love music, and then I found out that it's something you can like actually live off of and have a career off of, and I was like, oh, that's it. That's what I'm doing.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I felt about like working in the music industry. So I
Really?
totally get it. Like once I think I was a junior in high school when I found out that like, oh, you can actually like go to school and like study something like this. And for someone like me who was just going to concerts and meeting people that way and like already networking, like I was basically already networking as a teenager and not even realizing that that's what I was doing. And so when I found out that, I was like, oh, there's nothing else I could do with myself besides that. So I totally understand what you mean.
I fucking feel you, dude.
But yeah, your story is insane. I'm glad that everyone here will get to hear that because it's just so wild to me. Like, I was not doing anything at 13 and 14. Like, the fact that you were writing songs, producing, going out and singing them in front of people, like, I could never.
Oh, but that was like all I was doing. Like that was it. Like I had like two friends and like everyone, like all of my teachers hated me. Like everyone hated me except for like even I hated myself. Like I was just like I don't know, like it was all I was doing. That was
Yeah.
it. I
Yeah.
was like a weird like studio rat. Like I would stay up all night in my bedroom and just like fucking produce forever.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was a moment.
Even,
Thank you.
yeah. Well,
Thank you for saying that. I appreciate it.
of course, even your like struggles with addiction, like the fact that that happened for you at such a young age, like it makes me sad, but like obviously, like you're not struggling as much with that now. So I'm
Oh,
really
dude,
happy
like
about
not at
that.
all.
But yeah, it's just crazy to me that like you've gone through all of that before turning like 17. Like,
But here's the thing about that though. That's a New York thing. Like that's like kids from here. Like it's like I'm sure it's an LA thing too. Like I think it's both. But kids just like especially in New York, like there's so this like culture from I think just the rock and roll history here
mhm.
of like just romanticizing drug use and heroin, and the only movies that represent New York are like kids, like New York youth culture, and that's all about like
Oh my God.
spiraling into like just despair pretty much. That's like an awful, it's a fantastic movie, but an awful like message to put
Yeah,
across.
it's awful.
And
Yeah.
as a teenager, I like a young teenager, I saw kids and I was like, I want to do that. And it's so on point as a movie. Like it's exactly like that growing up. If
Yeah.
you're no, if you're like a normal kid in New York, like, and you're not extremely mentally ill, like I was, like, it's not like that. But there's so that scene of
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
just druggy, like skater kids and like just the girls that hang around them, and I was one of those girls for a really long time. And it's like that, like half of my friends went to rehab by the time I was 15. Like it just,
Yeah.
I'm surprised I didn't go. Like it is what it is.
Yeah, and see, like
Unfortunately.
growing up where I grew up, like in suburban New Jersey, it's just crazy for me to even like think about that because obviously drugs are accessible everywhere if you like know how to find them. But like I just always felt like, especially in New York, like you had a lot more friends doing it. You had a lot more friends having access to it at younger ages. Like it just didn't seem like something that was even accessible when I was a kid. So like I would just see it like in movies and I'd be like, oh, that's scary. But like
Yeah. Dude, I think it's because of the trains. Like, I think
yeah.
you don't have to drive.
Hmm.
So you can get like unreasonably fucked up anywhere you want
Hmm.
and then go home and you'll probably be fine.
Yeah.
Like, you won't crash the train, you know? Like,
Yeah.
you'll just be on the train and you'll maybe throw up in between the cars or some shit. But like, you'll be like fine, you know? Like, I don't know, you might get mugged, but like it's not deep, you know? Like I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not like kids aren't like drunk driving here, to my knowledge. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. That is
I
true.
don't know anyone who drives.
No, rich kids are Ubering and then, everyone else is taking the subway. So,
I, yeah, exactly, bro.
yeah. Oh, we forgot to mention, Chloe lived in Brooklyn. She still lives there. She grew up there. That is why we're talking about New York. I feel like we should mention that.
Yeah, I feel like we didn't mention that. I'm from Brooklyn.
Now we
Born
know.
and raised.
So that brings us more to today. You've been on RCA for 2 years now, and you've released many songs, two EPs, and now I guess we'll talk a little bit about quarantine and how that changed your, project. What's the word? Like I guess why can't I think of the word? Trajectory.
Trajectory.
Your
Yeah.
trajectory as an artist and if it had any sort of good or bad effects on your life as an artist.
Um Dude, it was just it's been like really hard. Like, it's been really tough. Like, because tour is like, I think a lot of like what is intriguing about me as an artist is my live show. Like, I think I'm
I would
pretty fun live.
I would agree. I miss your shows.
I miss you coming to my shows and seeing you and being like, Jordan. Yes, my queen. Like, I don't know. I was really excited, as I think everyone was, to play more shows and hopefully go on like more tours and like hopefully go on a Europe tour like this summer. Like, that's or last summer, I guess. That's what I thought was gonna happen. And then I was gonna move to LA, like obviously that all changed. So it started off as like, oh my god, I'm gonna fucking die. I hate it here. How long is this gonna last? And then as it started to progress, I just started to adapt, I think. Like, I was just kind of like, fuck, all right, like this is just what I gotta do, I guess. So now it's all like Zoom sessions and going live with my fans, and it's kind of hard to make new fans without going on TikTok, and I'm bad at TikTok. I'm trying to get better at it. So it's like, you know, it's weird. It's definitely weird, and it's made me like focus a lot on like social media more than I've ever wanted to in my life. Like, it's like, I don't know, like I have to like really like stay consistent with it, especially as like a small artist. Like, I'm trying to grow my shit and I can't slack. Like, I can't like not post for like 2 weeks,
Yeah.
and I can't not post on TikTok. So it's like a whole, I'm constantly on my phone or on my computer doing a Zoom session, and it's made me like, I've had moments where I've hated music, and then, which I've never had before in my entire life. Like, I've had moments where I've really dreaded writing music. I had the worst writer's block of my life for 6 months. I couldn't write a single song. It was fucking awful. And I can't play any shows. But it's also been cool because I've been able to be creative, like visually. Like, I've also been able to like connect with you and Clay in a lot of ways, and you guys have like transformed me in a lot of ways because of your knowledge of like the other side, you know, like I have only known what it's like I am not me and Jordan and Clay got like interviewed the other day for some shit, and top secret, and like and like they were like, how much do you guys know about pop culture? And I know nothing about pop culture, to be honest. Like I only know it through you guys,
Mm-hmm.
and you guys have just like, you know, like totally helped me in so many ways, and like with my image and stuff, like just I don't know, like from a fan perspective, like what fans want. And yeah, I don't know. Long-winded. Yeah, COVID's been tough.
I feel you, especially
What about you? You tell me, like.
I was gonna say, like, I agree wholeheartedly with what you were saying about, being on social media a lot more than you wish you were, and like being on your phone a lot more than you wish you were. Like, I was just talking about this yesterday because I'm in Zoom classes, so I'm looking at a screen for many hours of the day, and then I have to be on a screen to, monitor this project and working. I'm on screens like for hours on end, and I get like migraines. Like, I haven't gotten headaches in a while, but I've been getting migraines because of it, and I hate it. I also miss concerts so much. Like, it is my livelihood, and so not having been to a show for, it's going to be a year, over a year, that is just not something I ever wanted to happen ever in my life. And so I'm very sad about it, but I've obviously found
That was a cold
opportunities.
old lady.
Yeah. And I've obviously found opportunities to still be connected to artists even through this, and, hang out with my friends on Zoom, you and Clay especially. So it's, you adapt, especially in the music industry, but it's definitely not the same in a lot of ways. So I definitely understand that.
Yeah, man. It's sucks, but what can you do? I think the only thing that I really like about it has been um I really like my room,
Mhm.
and I'm lucky for that.
Yeah.
So I like don't also I have an excuse to be really depressed. And before I totally didn't. So now I can like stay home, like not leave my bed, and like everyone's like, word. Everyone's like, absolutely take all the time you need.
Yeah.
Which is new. I'm like not used to that. Usually people are like, yes, but get up. Like now it's like, oh, what else would you be doing? Yeah.
Like, we will be sleeping 2020 away. And I'm like,
Oh,
yeah.
that has been the vibe,
Yes. But
unfortunately.
now that we got all that sad stuff out of the way, let's talk about your,
Oh, that sad stuff.
yeah. Let's talk about your plans for the future. After
Period.
we're gonna have a dream scenario where, this isn't a problem anymore, and we're back to playing shows, we're
That's so
back to doing cool things. Like, how do you envision your career going after all of this is done?
um hopefully get like a really good tour, and then tour for like at least 10 months of the year. Like I want to tour as much as I physically can.
Yeah.
Um I want to tour. Well, I'm moving to LA in January. I want to write like a new album um with all my favorite people. I want to like see if I can like start like a side project like band. I think that would be really fun. Just for like fun.
Yeah.
Like just to like do it. Um I really I don't know, I want to like really build my brand, and I want to become like as big as I possibly can get.
Yeah. The phone is ringing. I'm so mad. I'm so sorry to anyone listening if you can hear my home phone going off.
Oh dude, it's all good. I didn't even notice.
Oh.
Shout out. Yeah, I think just getting as like up as I possibly can and working as hard as I can, because like I'm so bad at TikTok. And I hate that that's what I have to do
And
to like,
you're a Gen Z kid. How are you bad at TikTok?
dude, I just hate it. I hate being on my phone, man. Like I hate it. I don't do music to make YouTube videos and TikTok. I do music to make music, you
Yeah.
know? Um so it just sucks ass. I that is not to say that I am not ungrateful. I'm super grateful to even like have this problem. But yeah, in a dream scenario, I would be touring instead of like relying solely on social media to like get my art out there. What
Totally.
about you? What's your like dream scenario
Well,
after COVID?
after COVID, I will be going to every possible show I can. And hopefully, when you tour again, I'll be able to go on tour with you and
That would be sick.
experience that because I think that would be awesome. And just being like, I'm basically a groupie. Like, I would just be a groupie, like going on tour and
Oh,
watching your show every night, hanging out with your fans because I love them. They're all so sweet.
they love you, dude.
Ugh, I love
CEO.
them. I'm the CEO.
You are the CEO.
Um, but yeah, pretty much that. Like just going to shows as much as I can because I have to make up for lost time now.
Right.
And eventually once I graduate, hopefully move to LA or another city where I can continue doing stuff for you and just having a grand old time where we can go outside again. That will be
Dude, that's also something else is like actually like hugging my friends.
yeah.
That's like without fear.
Mhm.
That's gonna be so dope.
I know. Like I
Dude,
don't
I'm
miss
so
eating
excited.
out. I don't miss eating out at a restaurant. Like I could never do that again and be fine. Like if I can get takeout, I'm good. But I miss shows so much and that's going to be like the last thing to come back. Like it just sucks. But
It's so sad.
anyways, moving on.
Moving
I'd
on.
like to know some of your like short-term or long-term goals as an artist, like, Grammys or collaborations, just any like dream scenario where you're getting awarded for something or you get to do something super cool. What's your goal for that?
I think I I know I'm gonna win at least like 2 Grammys in my life. Like I know that in my soul. I'm a great songwriter. I'm really confident in my ability to do that. Whether it's my project or someone else's, I love writing. And I love like expression. So I think that that's something that I don't aspire to win awards, but I just like I don't know, like I'm confident in my writing and
Yeah.
I think it'd be cool to like get some recognition for it. And then also, um, I think like a big moment for me will be like my dream has always been to sell at Madison Square Garden. That has always been my dream. That will be the moment where I'm like, oh my God, I've
Yeah.
done it.
You'll do
Uh,
it. I'm
I am 100%. I agree with you. I will do it. It's the in between part that's really hard.
yeah.
Like I have all these goals and like where I'll be, but it's just like the getting there that's really hard.
Yeah, I feel
But
you.
yeah, I mean, hopefully also like just have like I don't know, I don't want to be really really massively famous though at the same time though. Like I want it to be like those who know
Mhm.
and those who don't bother me. You know what I you know
That
what
is
I
the
mean?
dream.
Like that's the dream, but I don't know how attainable that is.
I know. I just like I hate the idea that you'll ever get like hate on Twitter. Like I hate it so
Bro,
much.
I'm gonna get so much. I already get a lot of hate on Instagram. It's the incels being like slut, slut. And I'm like, okay, dude. What are you, Jackie? I'm like, all right.
The headaches, but no,
What's your dream career? Like, you tell me, where do you like ideally want to be in like 10 years?
in 10 years, oh, that's far. I'm like, first off, if I ever get to vote on the Grammys, hopefully I will. You got my vote. But anyways,
You. Oh,
but ideally, I don't know. I see myself doing a lot of like artist development now just because I find myself finding artists when they're smaller and watching them get
you're
really
really good at that.
while I support them. Thank you. I try. While I like support them from afar or, meeting them, going to their shows, that kind of thing. Right now it's from afar, but prior to that. Um so I could totally see myself in artist development and actually like helping people get there, not just watching it. Um And touring for sure. I think I'll definitely at least go on a tour or two in my life because I think that would be fun doing like the day-to-day management. But I don't know, I kind of want to do a little bit of everything. I think Clay and I are, I mean, you've definitely seen me do like everything. Same thing with Clay. We just
Yeah.
kind of like want to dip our toes in everything as much as we can. Like I
Oh,
obviously I make like visual art. I help you with like business stuff. I like to do social media. I like to do marketing, like all this stuff. Like I'd love to just, dabble in everything. So I don't know where I'll be in 10 years, but
that's so
we'll
cool, dude.
see.
You're so cool.
Says you.
You're so fucking cool, dude. Like, it's just so fucking, first of all, rare to like have someone like in my life at least that literally just wants to see me thrive. Like, you just want to help, bro. Like,
It's true.
and it's like so fucking cool. Like, you're so passionate about music and artists. Like, that's so rare for the music industry. I don't think would, ironically enough, I don't think you understand because people get wrapped up in the money aspect of it really easily. And while money is really important, we live within the bounds of capitalism. Like, I think, dude, like, you care so much in a way that a lot of people really don't. Like, you're in it for the right reasons. Like, a lot of music industry people I've met, especially young music industry people, they just want to be around artists and they just want clout and like they just want to, like, I don't know, like, make money. And like, while all of that is fine and cool and like all right, like, a lot of the people I've met don't actually care about the music and care about the artists and want to like do anything they can to see success and growth. And that's something I really admire about you.
Chloe, you're gonna
It's true.
cry.
It's true, dude. It's so fucking cool to
Oh my
see
god.
like you're so smart too, like in the way you do it. Like, I
Wow.
don't know, working with you has completely changed my life. Like, straight up. Like,
Chloe.
super grateful to have you on my team.
Oh my god, I'm gonna cry. I love you. You know
Oh,
that. You know how
I
much
love you so much, bro.
and support you. Oh my god, the wholesome
I
energy.
support you, bro. Like, anything you decide to do, I'm always gonna back you up, man.
Will create an environment so wholesome.
Yes, the energy we've created in the studio.
Speaking of wholesome, we are now in the fan question portion. We have some
Oh, lemon gang.
fans, the
Lemon
Lemon Gang.
gang.
So the first one, this one was my favorite. What movie character do you think would stream douchebag? I love that question, and I wanted to.
Oh, that's a really good
I
question.
know, I loved it.
Dude, I feel like the bad girl, the mean character in Scott Pilgrim.
Oh
You know what I'm talking about?
yes!
The
Oh my
girl
god,
with the hair?
perfect. I can't remember. Are you talking about Brie Larson?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, who sent on my love all the while. Dude, she is my idol. Like, I
yeah.
aspire to be her in life. Like,
That scene of her performing that song is like my favorite scene of that movie. It's so
and that song is so good. Beck killed that soundtrack,
good.
first of all. But yeah, I think she would.
Did
Um,
you hear Kaylee's cover of that song? It's
yeah,
sick. You should definitely
I
listen.
will peep.
I-
What the
I'll
fuck?
I'll send it to you after
Send
this.
it to me right now.
Yeah,
I'm so excited.
yeah. She does an amazing cover of it, and she loves like she loves that song in character too. Oh my god, you two are so similar. I can't wait for you two to like meet in person and become friends.
Me too. She seems really cool. She's already the. All
Oh,
right.
we have New York sounds in the
Ooh.
some
Yep.
ambiance.
Just hyper masculine.
Mhm.
No muffler. Let's go.
Yep.
Oh, dude. What do you think? Who do you think would?
That's a great answer. I was trying to think of one and I'm just like, I don't know. Like, I can't think of like, but you as like the Manic Pixie Dream soundtrack, like whatever, like I could totally see that as being one. I'm trying to think of a good one, but that was like the best answer. Like, oh,
Hey,
wow.
thanks,
But you're
bro.
so right. Yeah, I wish I could remember
Right?
the name. People are gonna like,
She's salty. I'm salty. We write music to get back in men.
true. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of parallels here. and I'm happy about it.
I know. We're out here.
Um, okay. Besides the actual show, what is your favorite part about touring?
Oh, dude, it's definitely like meeting new people and like seeing new places. Like that's the cool because I'm not well traveled at all. I have left the country once. No, twice now. Once because of tour to Canada. But like officially left the country and I was going through drug withdrawals the whole time. So I couldn't enjoy it.
Yeah.
And I couldn't like see it. So like I was in Spain and for my mom's like work trip, it was a fucking disaster. But that's a whole fucking story. Anyway, like basically like I love like especially like on the MXM Tune and Tessa Violet tours, like Tessa Violet, we went all around America. Like we went
Mhm.
like that was the longest tour I'd done up until then. And Tessa's amazing. And we literally drove. We were all in a van
Yeah.
and we just drove. And then with MXM Tune, like I got to see like Toronto and like I got to see Atlanta again. And like I don't know, like it's so fucking cool like that I can like go around and meet new people and kind of get a window into people's lives for a day and then
Yeah.
go to a new place. So yeah, that's what and then come home.
Yeah.
You're home and you're like, oh my god, dude, it's so nice like collapsing on your bed because you've been in like all these random beds.
Yeah.
Like it's
Well,
the
and being in a van, it's not like, have you ever toured in a bus?
no, dude.
Yeah.
I am not on that level yet. One day.
I was gonna say like even touring in a van, like I can't imagine being in a van for like a month.
I can't imagine being in a bus. That's like OD. That's
Oh, I
like
get to sleep there. Yeah.
yeah, that's like suffocate. I don't know. Like I like the hotel thing. Like I'm
Yeah.
like
No, I feel you. I didn't think about
also
that.
I do want a bus, like a pimped out ass, like just like a nice ass bus. That
Playing
would
with
be
like a
sick.
little table in there. Like,
Yeah, it'd be like a little
oh my God.
cute. We could play
Um,
Uno.
yeah, and this one was funny to me because like I know what you're gonna say, but on a scale of 1 to 10,000, how excited are you to tour again?
Oh my god, like 2 billion.
Yeah, I'm also excited because I will be attending, and so
You will probably be coming. So hopefully if we have the money to, I'm trying to get the bread up now so we can just like hit it.
that would be insane. Just seeing the country, like from a tour bus or van, like it's just that just sounds so sick. Like I'll be living my almost famous fantasy. Like Clay and I will just be pretending we're in that movie the whole time.
Dude,
Uh,
it is a moment. It's so just unique as an experience. You
no, I
should,
can
I
imagine.
think everyone should do it once.
Um, Favorite song you've written and favorite lyric?
Um, I always get this question and it changes literally every
I
day.
know. That's why I was like, I'm gonna ask again.
Uh, you're evil. Um, I think mm,
My favorite song of Chloe's is probably Here's Your Song.
yeah, I'll go with Here's a Song too. I'll
Yeah.
go. I love that song.
I love Douchebag too. It's a classic, but one of your best songs, if not your best, is Jesus Couldn't Love Me.
I was also thinking that. I don't know. It's like
I think that's my top three.
I think I think mine are like Sneakers because I think it's a funny song. Um, and I think it's like yeah, it's like its own fucking thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think Moderation
Mm-hmm.
right now and like Here's Your
Classic.
Song.
Yeah.
Um, and then I think my favorite lyric right now is like probably Jesus couldn't love me even if he tried. Like that's
So good.
that was do you want to know how I came up with that?
Mm-hmm.
It was like I was 14 and I was lying in my bed and I was really depressed. And so when I'm depressed, I like make jokes to myself about how depressed I am to try to like cheer myself up. So I was like, huh, Jesus couldn't love me. Even if he fucking tried, dude. I'm so whack. And then I was like, wait, that's fire. And I like got up and I wrote it down and it's like changed my life, that song.
Yeah.
That song is what got me a record deal, man.
And people love that one. That one's like high up on your Spotify, as it should be. It's
Dude, I'm so
great.
lucky.
Yeah.
I'm so lucky. I love that song and I'm really proud of it.
Yeah. I'm glad that one gets the recognition it deserves. It deserves more, but I'm
I
glad that
I agree it does.
yeah.
I think it's gotten a really good amount of like the fans really love it and that's what matters to me,
Mhm.
like and
Well,
it's a lot of people. But
and I
the
know,
Christian people get so mad.
yeah. No,
They
I'm,
get so
I don't
pissed.
know why. It's a song.
It's
Like,
also like, dude, like, can you take a fucking joke? Jesus. Like, can you can you take a joke though? Like, dude, they're like, Jesus loves everyone. You're wrong. How dare you? That's blasphemy. And I'm like, dude, all right. Cool.
yeah, you just gotta be like, whatever. Like,
Mistake, bro.
but
All
yeah,
right.
and your unreleased music, but that's
Yeah,
neither here
no, we
nor
won't get
there.
into that.
Yeah, those are some classics right there. When you guys hear them, you will understand.
Mm.
Um, okay, then I have like two more. Uh, Worst experience as a musician. I'm not sure what context they meant, but I'm gonna let you interpret it how you want to.
Uh, that's so general.
I know.
I think um the worst experience being a musician generally is realizing that your art is a commodity. And like re-realizing that every time I have to like put money before or like a business thing before my art. And that's like something that never fails to just completely trip me the fuck up. Like it's so shitty. So I think that, or I also think just kind of like how weird people get. I don't even have that much clout. How weird people get about clout.
Yeah.
Like I think that's also, because like even with fans and stuff, like they'll DM me and be like, "Hey, like I don't think you'll see this, but I love you so much." And then I'll respond. They'll be like, "Oh my god, I'm dying," and I'll be like, "Oh, chill." Like it's like whoa, like
Yeah.
let's. And I get like that with other people, and I think our celebrity culture is really fucked up. But also like it's gotten to the point now where I like meet people like through like regular social settings, and then they'll well not anymore but before, and they'll like follow me on Instagram and then they'll see that I have like a couple thousand followers, um and they will get very weird about it,
Yeah.
be like, "Ooh, you're famous," and I'm like, "I don't want to talk about it with you, thank you."
Yeah.
So I think those two are the hardest things
Yeah. No, I
for
don't
me.
even like know how because you get to a certain point as an artist where I feel like every relationship you make is like transactional in some regard, and I think that that's really scary. I think that's one thing that I
Ridiculous and like unnecessary too.
yeah, yeah.
It doesn't have to be like that, but it is.
Yeah. And that's why I think people like artists they get distant with their fans even too because maybe they feel like oh they're just trying to like get clout from me whatever, which is also weird, but like I don't know.
Yeah, dude. That's like the crazy. That's like the thing that I'm like I don't like that.
Yeah. But okay, Clay and I thought of some good questions to ask you. These are more like interviewee journalist questions, but not like ones that you answer all the time. We were like, we're not going to put her through that.
Thank God. All right.
So, okay, putting your music out into the world for criticism must be scary at times, but what is the most rewarding part about risking your art or sharing your art and doesn't make it worth the risk?
I think when someone says it helps them, I
Mm,
think that's the most rewarding part for me, for
yeah.
sure. Like I think when someone either DMs me or like comments or is like, "I love this song," or like, "This song helped me so much,"
Hmm.
I think that is the best part of it for me.
Yeah. Well, and I even see it. Like, I see people be like, oh, I just listened to Chloe Lilac. Like, she's amazing. Like, I love her songs. I'm like, like that warms my heart.
Right? Like it's like,
Yeah. It's so,
oh. Like, I love it. It's my
Yeah.
favorite.
And do you have any memories with fans or other artists that stick out to you, good or bad?
Um, I'm not gonna talk about the artist ones because I would like I don't like I don't
No
want to get in.
day.
Well,
No
not today. Yeah, you and Clay would fucking murder me. But I will say, um, I guess my like best memories with is it best or worst memories?
It can be good or bad. I'm gonna let you.
Oh, some of my best memories are from the MXM Tune tour and just how psyched the audience was every night.
Yeah,
Like,
they
dude,
love you.
it has never been that lit. Like, it was so cool. Like, everyone was so excited and like pumped. And it was especially Toronto because that was the first show we did.
Yeah.
Um, and me and Marty were there, and Marty's my guitar player, and I was really fucking tired, like, and it was fucking freezing, and we like walked into the venue, and they were all camped out in the freezing cold, in like jackets and sweaters and shit, and like scarves. It was like negative like 10 or some shit.
Oh my God.
It was insane, and they were just all out there, and I was like, I want to play Uno with you guys, and they were like, yes, and then I couldn't because I had to sound check, but like if I could,
You would.
anyway, because I did that, we got on stage and it was like a wall of energy, and I wasn't used to it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's my favorite memory, and then my favorite memory with an artist has been probably just like touring with Tessa Violet was really fun. Like, she's a super nice, cool person. And
Yeah.
she was like, I don't know, we had this moment. I think it was, I forget where it was, but I know exactly where we were at the same time. It was in this like gross green room with shit on the wall. Someone put shit on the wall, and we were talking about yeah, it was fucking weird. But we were talking about like what it means to be like a performer, and I don't know, just like what it's like to like, I don't know, like really connect and really let go on stage, and
Mm-hmm.
like had a really deep conversation about like self-esteem and self-worth, and you know, where's the line between like going too crazy on stage and blah blah blah, and just like also just the nature of performance in the music industry, and it was like really special. So that's like a really close memory for me.
I love that.
Yeah, me too. I'm really lucky to have that.
Yeah.
Shout out Tessa Violet, queen.
Shout out. And her fans love you. Like I see them all the time.
I
Talk.
love her fans and I love her.
Mm-hmm.
Like, all in all, great gang.
And then Clay gave me some very good questions. He said, how do you know when a song is done lyrically? Were there any tracks on either of your EPs that you had to revisit a few times before thinking they were done?
No. For me, I think for other people it's not to be like for other people, but like I think it's just subjective. Like, so,
If
like some people take some 2 weeks to work on their songs. Some people it takes like an hour. For me, I'm like, if a song isn't done by the end of the day, then it's not good. Like, and it's not worth going back into. But some people really enjoy working on it. But personally, I know it's done when I've finished writing the song. Like, that's when I know it's done. Like, I know that's like but like when I've literally finished it, like not when I've gone back in, when
yeah.
I've literally, it's like the second one is done,
Mm-hmm.
like the second, like I go verse, pre-chorus, verse, and then like maybe bridge, and then when maybe bridge is done, then I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm going home.
And you know what? That suits you so well, just knowing you as a person and how, like, the attention span is not long enough to be
Oh
going
no.
back.
Not at all, dude. I write super fast. Like, I
Yeah.
get stuff out probably, my time span is like 10 minutes to like 4 hours.
Yeah.
That's like where Like I've written songs in 10 minutes and I've written them in 4 hours, but I will never take several days to write a song. That
Yeah.
will never happen. I would rather saw off my left foot. I would rather do it. But some people work like that and I respect it because I think it creates a well-rounded project. But like I don't personally, my art doesn't need to be well-rounded for me to like it and for me to feel
Yeah.
confident.
Yeah. I feel that.
I think if it's a little weird, then like that's what makes it cool.
Yeah. I think someone like who does write songs over a longer period of time like that is I think Phoebe Bridgers. She takes her songs and like because if you listen to her lyrics, like they're all very like poetically. It kind of sounds like she's just singing a poem, and I'm pretty sure that's what she's doing because when I watch videos about how she makes her songs, it'll be like, yeah, I wrote this like 6 months ago. It's just 2 lines, and then I went back to it, and I'm just like, that's crazy too because I would forget that even existed. Like, um,
But
but I agree, like it definitely creates like a different sound or just like vibe.
it creates like a way more well-rounded vibe, I think. But I also think like for me, if it doesn't happen in the first like hour, then I'm like, it's done. Like
Yeah.
I'm like, let's move on. I don't know.
Well, and you write so much, like a lot of people don't feel inspiration that often.
That's true. This
So,
is true. I read a lot.
speaking of, how
Nope.
difficult do you find it to be inspired to write? Are you someone that can find inspiration in just about anything or go and do experiences and then have to sit for a while? Um, and at random moments, the inspiration just comes to you.
It's like somewhere in between that. Like I still write about situations that happened like 5 years ago.
Hmm.
But I also really I don't know. I write a lot about like things that hurt. So like I write a lot about like friendship falling outs or like stupid boys from Brooklyn that treat me like shit. Like like I write a lot about that. And I also write, but recently I've been writing more about like depression and anxiety and self-esteem and um like myself. So I think it really depends. But the thing that I think the most inspired by is like just like any sort of extreme emotion. So if it's like a lot of happiness, then that, and if it's a lot of anger, then that, and if it's a lot of sadness, then that.
Yeah. And
Um,
I love hearing you say that you're making like very like introspective music now, like where you're kind of just like looking at yourself and like reflecting that out because I find that really interesting. But I love that you can do both. Like the fact that you can write about like dumb boys and turn around and talk about like, your relationship with yourself. Like I think that that's really important.
yeah, and I also I think that's something that a lot of my writing has like been lacking. I think in the past has been like some insight into like actually who I am versus like I think you get a vibe of who I am, but I don't think you really hear who I am until very like recently.
Hmm.
Um, like whereas before it was just kind of like not to put down my other music. I love my other music and my earlier stuff. But I think it was more so just kind of like, like, oh man, my heart is broken. Like you did it. Like
I love that one.
a classic. Yeah, I don't know. Versus like, I don't know, moderation. I wrote about um how I always feel like a burden.
Yeah.
And like that's something that I will always feel for the rest of my life.
I love that though, like the liability tease. Like it's just so like it reminds me so much of that.
Lunch teas.
Yeah.
Lunch teas. All day, every day.
Okay, and then two more quick questions. I liked this one a lot that Clay said. He said, describe what it's like to hear people sing your songs back to you in a crowd.
Bro, I just got like a hit of dopamine from hearing that sentence. Bro, it's like, especially because like it's weird. I think my project's weird because I have like quite a a few monthly listeners, but it hasn't translated onto Instagram. So I
Yeah.
think a lot of the people who have listened to my music have no idea what I look like or like who I am, which is so jarring for me. Like, I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my God, like, whoa. So, I'm not super used to people singing it back, but it makes me want to cry when I do. It makes me seriously want to cry. It like, because I don't know, it's always been like, I don't think about it as like, oh, like, I don't know how to explain this. Like, I have such weird self-esteem. Like, I'm like really confident in what I do. And like, I am like, but then also at the same time, I'm like, nobody gives a shit and nobody will ever give a shit. And like, the people that say they give a shit are lying to make me feel better about myself. So like, I'll be like, it's so bizarre.
Yeah. No,
Like,
I know what you mean.
yeah, like I don't know, like when people actually like show up to my shows and are like, yo, this is my fucking song, this is like me and my girlfriend's song or some shit, I'm like, yo, what the fuck? And it makes me want to cry, and like it makes me also want to scream because I'm like, yo.
Yeah.
I'm like, no. That's so crazy. It's the most unbelievable feeling.
Yeah. No, I can't even imagine. I'm sure I love seeing it. Like just being the one who's screaming the lyrics back. Like it's an adrenaline rush for me as a fan.
It's
Like
so it's also crazy because it's like you like as a fan will be singing back to me lyrics that I wrote about like some fuck boy who lives a block away from me. Like
yeah.
that is so jarring.
Yeah.
Like and
No.
like you don't know the experience, but like because you've like related it to your own and
Yeah.
it resonates with you. And that's just such a special thing. Like
Yeah. And
it's so sick.
even like like when I go to shows for artists that like I really love and I'm like front row and they're singing it to me, I'm like, oh my God, like this person is like a real person who I'm looking at right now, and like we are connecting like on this level. And I think that that's insane. And that's just what I miss it so much. Like I miss it.
Dude, music is like so intimate, but
Yeah.
also so like not intimate. It's so weird. It's
Yeah.
so weird, but I love it.
Wow. A moment.
The memes.
Yeah. Okay, and then last question. The songs on Douchebag are a very big stylistic evolution from Manic Pixie Dream. As you gear up to work on your next project, how do you think that that will evolve further?
Dude, I like don't know. I think I I think that like comes with time because like I don't make shit just like with an intention. Like I don't like go in and like I wish I could, and I think at some point I will, like a concept album or something.
Yeah,
Like I would love to make a concept album, but I like right now at this point in my life and my career, like I'm just so bad at like sitting down and being like, this is what I want, and like boxing myself in, especially because I think if you box yourself in, you limit yourself in so many ways if you're like, this is how I want it to sound exactly. But
yeah,
also some people really pull that off and like it's groundbreaking and amazing. For me, it's like, I don't know, with from Manic Pixie Dream, like Manic Pixie Dream was a collection of songs that I had made all when I was like 17 to 14, 14 to 17. Um, and it was like, it took like 3 years for us to get like 6 good songs. And then with Douchebag, it was like I had been so inspired by this thing that this like couple months in my life that were like awful, that I just like sat down with a bunch of like my favorite people and just like wrote a bunch of shit, and like I was like, fuck it, let's try this vibe. Like
yeah,
like also something I like to do is like if I have like a favorite song, I'll go into sessions with a bunch of different people, like different producers and like writers every time, and I'll show them the exact same song and see what we come out with.
yeah,
And that's always super fun because I can like
yeah.
experiment. But yeah,
That's sick. Yeah.
I guess I don't know if that answered your question.
No, it did. Like, I mean, you
Okay,
don't know like where it's gonna go. Like, I wasn't
I have
looking
no
for.
idea.
Yeah, if you don't have
I
an answer, then you don't need to
have
think of
no
it.
idea.
And then like if you have any questions about fan culture, or for me, we talk all the time. So if you don't have questions, that's totally fine.
No, but let me think of questions I've asked you in the past. I think, what is the most important thing to you as a fan? I think from an artist, like what means the most to you?
I
And
think
what is the worst thing that an artist can do?
the
That
worst.
yeah, that's something that I'm like really intrigued by. That'll like yeah, like as a fan, like really
I like thought of, I was the first thing that came to my mind was like they collaborate with an artist I don't like. But that's not.
dude.
I guess like the worst thing they can do is like disappoint me as a fan. Like I don't know, and that's not like the worst thing they can do because it's just me, but like in terms of like something that would make me not want to be a fan of them anymore is like if they disappointed me, meaning they like betray the vision that I had of them already. Like their views, if I thought their views aligned with mine, or if I felt like they really like understood something that I had gone through, or like I don't know, if they just like if they mess up in a way, or like they do something, I hate cancel culture in some situations because I think that it gets to be a little much, but like I can definitely understand like being disappointed by artists and not wanting to be supportive of them anymore because that's definitely happened to me in the past. um but I think the my favorite part about being a fan, or like the thing that's most important to me, is kind of what I said. Like I just love touring and seeing the artists in person and having that connection in person, like right in front of our faces. I love like meet and greets. I always like when I was younger and I could meet artists in person before all this, like that was just such a rewarding part of, my being a fan of them. It was just they, and a lot of them made me feel really special like in our meet and greets and whatever. So like that's just the biggest thing I think for fans, like when they get to meet the artist and tell them how much their music means to them, or see them live and be able to like sing the songs back to each other. Like I think that that's a huge part of it. But yeah, that's, and just it just makes you feel special. Like I don't know, like if you feel like you can connect to an artist, I think that's the biggest thing. Yeah.
What do you think, like, why do you think because this is something I've always wondered. What is it like about some people that are drawn to follow an artist versus just listen to their music passively?
Yeah.
What is it like that? What is that drive, like that distinction?
Yeah, because I do both. I definitely have artists that I just listen to, but I don't like follow them. And I think the main thing is, at least for me, if they like are creative on social media and they like show that creativity in their feed, like if someone has nice outfits, I love following people for like fashion inspiration, especially artists. Like for example, like Rosalia, I love her outfits, everything that she wears. And then like I think Olivia O'Brien has great outfits. Like just if they are like if they have a nice feed, I guess that makes you want to follow them. That's the same thing with anyone because I follow people who aren't artists who do the same thing. So I
Mhm.
think that's it. Also, if they're like pretty, I just like following like pretty women that I love because they're just powerful and I like seeing them on my feed because they give me confidence in a
Period.
way. So I love that. And then I just like staying up to date. Like people that I really am a fan of and I want to stay up to date with their releases. That's pretty much what it is for the
Mm.
most part for me. But for other people, I can see it being mostly like, they're pretty, you want to follow them, you want to be like them, that kind of thing. So it's
What's
either way.
what's the worst part about being a fan, do you think?
The worst part,
Yeah.
mm, I think feeling like you don't have a say sometimes in like the things that go on. Like now I don't feel that as much because I kind of forced myself into that because I'm going to school for music business.
Yeah.
But I think feeling like the artist or the label, it's mostly the label. I feel like a lot of the times the artists do want to do what the fans want, but the label might be restrictive. Maybe just not feeling like you're being listened to as a fan because you're, especially when it's a big artist, you're kind of a small voice in a very like large community. But I don't feel that so much now because I feel like I'm kind of making my way into the industry and I do have a say in things more and more.
Mm.
But yeah, well, that's what I think of mainly. I think also, the chance of being disappointed by artists. But like, there's really not many downsides because obviously I love being a fan of music and I love being a fan of artists. So there's not many downsides, but I guess I would say that.
What what was the first who was the first artist that you really like fell in love with?
Really stand.
Mhm.
Probably, okay. Well, when I was younger, my dad would just put music on like my MP3 player for me. So he actually introduced me to like Katy Perry, Lady Gaga, No Doubt. Like he would put like all the women on there, and that's how like I started listening to, you know, alt pop and then like female pop artists, and that was like a huge thing for me. But I think like I didn't start asking to go to concerts until I was in high school, and I like begged to see Lana. Lana was probably the first one that I like and I'm still like a big fan of her, but like when I was a freshman in high school, I like begged to go see her in Philly and the show was sold out. Tickets were like $150 resale and like I paid for two tickets so that like it was like all my savings.
Oh
I
my
paid for two tickets so that my dad could take me because he was like, I'm not letting you go by yourself. And so I had to pay for two tickets instead of one. And I had to clean the whole house and I was like,
God.
I had to go. Like, and I'm glad that I did because it was like life
How
changing
did
for
it
me.
do?
But it was, yeah, that was probably like the first major one. I also loved like Imagine Dragons when I was like in middle school. They were like a band that I saw a couple times, and that's how I like saw Halsey. She opened for them. Like, so everyone's like Imagine Dragons is corny, yes, but like I just like loved their music when I was a kid, and I am not going to be quiet about it because people try to keep me silent on my love for Imagine
Uh,
Dragons. I
Imagine Dragon slaps.
thank you. I
They
refuse to be
slap.
silent.
I don't know why people hate on them. They're like fine.
Well, and when I saw them, like I've seen them a couple times, and Dan, like the lead singer, he's always been such like a vocal um advocator for like mental health and like the LGBT
Dude,
community.
he's the king.
And yeah, and he struggled with like depression and everything, and like I related to that. And so like whenever I would go to his shows or like their shows and he would like have a speech about that, like I'd get so emotional because I was just like, oh my god, Dan, like I know how you feel, man.
Oh,
But like that's special, like when you feel that like relatability from an artist, like that's a huge thing, and I feel like you have that. So
oh.
but
What
yeah.
do you what do you think? This is the last question I'll ask.
Okay.
What do you think is like the best and worst parts of stan culture? Yeah.
That's easy. That is easy.
Okay.
So the best part is the community that it creates, for sure. A million times. Like, and you feel a lot more connected to the artist because I think artists recognize their stands a lot more because they're just easier to recognize. And I've met so many of my friends, like Clay, for example. Like, I've met like my closest friends I've met through Stan Twitter and like just the communities around the artists that I am a fan of. The worst part, very easy. It is quite a toxic community at times. And that is between stands, like the amount of like online fights that I've seen, in-person fights, like they're really mean at shows sometimes. Like they'll push you, they'll like get into physical altercations just to get like barricade, and I'm like, that's a little much for me. Uh, but then like even the toxicity towards like other artists, I see it a lot, like especially with female artists, and I try to like distance myself from that because I'm all for like supporting the artists you want to support, but I don't understand the having to tear down the people you don't like as much. I think you should just be like silent on that. But it gets to a point where like everyone has an opinion, everyone thinks that they have the authority to share it and that it's better than everyone else's, so that's just where that comes from. But that's definitely the worst part because it gets to the point where like I have to take breaks from Twitter where I'm just like, I don't need to see all this negativity. But the pros do outweigh the cons when it comes to like the friends that I've met through those communities and everything, so I don't regret like being on Stan Twitter at all. Like that's how I had friends in high school because I didn't have them in person. So,
Oh,
but yeah, it's definitely a double-edged sword. But I think that the pros outweigh the cons for sure.
damn. Fuck
Um,
yeah, dude.
yeah. So this is now towards the end of the podcast. I think we have like over an hour already, so we'll wrap it up.
Yeah, I definitely like sent it on the ranting, but that's
No
okay.
problem. No, we love the conversation.
We'll send on rant. It's okay.
So the last little portion is we'll talk about like our current favorites. If you have a current favorite song or album or artist that you want to like mention or plug or whatever, feel free to do so. I'll mention mine too. If you don't have any, I'll say them while you think of them.
Other artists?
Yeah, or song or album, like just what you're listening to right now.
Oh, dude. Listen to Kaylee Morg.
Queen.
Yeah, come on. Isaac Dunbar, Maud Latour, Layla Blue, fucking Ren for Short, my queen.
Yep.
MXM Tune, Tessa Violet, Ex Lovers, and then who I'm listening to recently actually is this band that nobody knows about, but they're so good.
You
They're
sent
so,
them. I was like, they are good.
dude, they're so good. Lounge FM, really into them right now. Super into Paramore right now.
Yeah.
Really into TikTok. Got me listening to All I Wanted again, and I like can't.
Yeah. Yeah. It'd be like that.
It really do. Baby Keem. Lots of Baby Keem.
Mhm.
No cap. Lots of like lots of like 90s hip hop and R&B
Mhm.
also.
Yeah.
So that's been me. What about you?
Love that. I think my favorite song right now is Now by Olivia O'Brien. That song is a classic.
Yeah, that song is fucking amazing.
Yeah. And then probably Coin just released a song called You Are the Traffic, and I think it's really pretty. And so that's what I've been listening to. And then album, I mean, Punisher by Phoebe Bridgers. What more can I say? Like, and Douchebag by Chloe Lilac.
Thank you.
And then my favorite artist right now, it's hard to think of one, but one that I'm like excited to hear from, Ashniko. I love her, and she's putting out like a mixtape in like a month or something. But I'm really excited about that. But also Chloe Lilac. Let's be honest. So with that being said, Chloe, would you like to plug any of your social media, upcoming projects, recent projects? Like,
Yes,
feel
I
free.
just put out an EP called Douchebag. Really proud of it.
It's a classic. Go listen to it.
Oh, I love you. My Instagram is Chloe Lilac. My Twitter is Chloe Lilac _. My TikTok is Nimi Jutron, with an I, Nimi. And my YouTube is Chloe Lilac. Yeah, my Spotify's Chloe Lilac. Apple Music's Chloe Lilac.
Yep. Chloe Lilac. That's CHLOE space LILAC.
Wow.
Go listen.
Go listen.
And this has been an episode of Both Sides of the Barricade. You can follow on Instagram at Both Sides of the Barricade. You can follow on Twitter at BSOTB Pod, the acronym and pod. And you can subscribe on YouTube, Both Sides of the Barricade. My Instagram is JTaylorLDR, same thing on Twitter. And this episode is available on Spotify and iTunes. You can also watch it on YouTube. And follow, subscribe, like, download, rate, comment, all that. And thank you for listening. And we will see you next time. Thank you so much for being here, Chloe. I love you so much.
Thank you for having me. I love you. Oh my God. Listen to that official ass ending.
Thank you.
Oh my God. I'm so proud of you. I love this. Thank you for having me.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye, guys. Love you.